Thank you. Have a good night. Appreciate it. All right, look, the met theme. He waited as soon as the bus comes. Come on, I've been a bus driver. With the hand signal. Look at that. Look at him. Look at these perps. Look at the other one in there. Yeah, you working kind of late. You trying? Again, it's not coincidental. And again, the black vehicle. Why? As I was getting off the bus, saying goodnight to the bus driver, he had on these black gloves that he's trying to show me. But you know, this is that again. We talk about false choices that they gave, that they want to give me. So as I was leaving, I was saying to Pam, I said, "Hey, all right, I'm getting ready to leave," and she goes, "Where are you going?" And I'm like, "What? Where am I going?" You know. Anyway, as I was before I almost forget. So I go into her bedroom to talk to her about Ethan, and then she takes both her hands, with the back of my hand, each hand placed it over each eye of hers, and then yawning, right? Again, in your person department, yeah, exposing their shit, right? So again, this false choice that they want to give you as a TI, it's a false choice. That's all that is. It is their way of trying to see if if you're still falling for the manipulation, if you're still falling for the tricks. Don't fall for it. Coercive persuasion programming is a psychological program in which you are being manipulated through various technical psychological tactics and methods, as well as external factors like covert drugging, setups and framers, honey trapping. It is to cause you trauma, and then using that trauma, capitalizing the perps, that is, the dark triads and position of authority, capitalizing off of your trauma, which they have caused you, but you don't see it. You will blame the person that's around you as the person causing your trauma, but that person is just only being manipulated also to cause you trauma. So you must understand what's going on, all right? Then, in terms of now trying to abuse you, particularly if you're a woman, they will abuse you sexually, right? If you're a man, they will abuse you in terms of finance, right? So these are the things that they do, particularly for us as TIs, and also black men and black women. I like that BMW. Wow. You know, it's kind of ugly, but you know, it's a weird kind of ugly. Anyhow, but yeah, it is to do. That's exactly what they do. This is why you see, particularly like I said, when you have a group of people, and like I said, you guys go and look at the Rat Utopia experiment, and then go look at the other videos that talks about what was the purpose of those, and what happened doing that experiment with the rats, and how these rats were look, I was just talking about the BMW. Look. See, they must have me fixated on it because dude comes out of the BMW. Look, putting her hands behind my mouth. Remember, these are all pre-programmed things, and they are being told exactly what it is that they do to you as a TI to make it look like it's to give you the feeling of it being supernatural. It's not supernatural. It is orchestrated psychological operations that they engage with you in terms of manipulating you, doing it in ways that you don't understand, using technology like silent sound. You know, I was talking about this morning, you know, putting dreams in my mind as I was sleeping, and then, you know, woke up to the pain right underneath my feet, right where in the dream, like I said, I stepped on some glass, right? Again, this is something that they've never done before. This is new. And the name of the technology, I forgot to look it up, but go and research how researchers, scientists can induce dreams, right? For example, if they want to have you buy something, they will implant a dream in your subconscious. Kind of, you've ever seen the movie Inception? right? In which an idea is planted in somebody's mind. And that's what I see what's happening with particularly with black women. They have this idea of all wanting a what? A man that makes six figures, 6 feet tall, 6 pack, 6 inches or more. Doesn't matter if they themselves is not any, they themselves don't make six figures. They themselves are not tall. They're not fit. You find even the most obese, some of the most obese black women, or European women, I should say, wanting the same thing, with no concern or even asking the question, do those kind of men that I want, do they want me? Do they find me attractive? Right? But it's the idea planted in their mind. So I want you guys to understand that, right? So unless you become conscious and understand exactly what's going on. And we see this all the time, even when I was younger growing up, even when I was going out, going to parties, even when I was DJing, you'll see some of the most biggest women, some of the most skimpiest outfit, and it's like, why? Why do that to yourself? Right? But it's because of the mindset that is created when you have a people in a condition that the condition is based off of them surviving, not thriving, not living. There may be some outliers. Again, you're not going to not act as if there aren't people who will become fortunate enough to, depending on their talent and on their intelligence, that to be given those opportunities, right? But again, they're given those opportunities, particularly within this system. Understand that, right? Because I guarantee you that even though all their talents and all their brilliance and smarts, they're not doing anything afterwards to benefit their people. They're not doing anything afterwards to elevate their people, right? They have been adapted into the system, and their mind have been conditioned to not see themselves as the very same people in which they grew up with, what I'm saying, even within their family members or what have you. So you got to understand how we are being conditioned that when we elevate within the society to detach ourselves from where we come from, right? To not have any connection, right? To not go back and help, in which any other, the farm fixation, as she walked past, opened up her hands towards me. Um, that we don't do that, but every other group of people you see do that, right? But except for us, because the world have been conditioned into treating black people the way how the white supremacists and the white racists want the world to treat us. This is something that we must understand. So when I see black people that are going, particularly black women in particular, going to Prague and all these other, Italy, all the stuff, talk about looking for love, those men are not looking for love. Those men are looking to sleep with you. Not to say that you're not going to find some man out there who's going to take you seriously or have a relationship with you, but I guarantee you that you're only going to see a very few of those men. And this is what we tend to overlook, particularly women. Our women tend to overlook that. So just because one of your friends might go overseas and find love, that doesn't mean that you're going to go overseas and find love, right? Because those men are looking for a particular kind of woman. Either you're going to be friendly, feminine, right? Even if you're a little bit overweight, those men in those countries who will accept you are not the type of men that those women who consider themselves attractive, beautiful, will attract them. Then it comes down to the sex, right? A lot of white men, in particular European men, fetishize black women. So these things you got to deal with, and this is what, like I said, our women do not think about. So when you see now, because of, again, the American religious right, who have been, yo, what's up, man? Yo, hold on a second. Let me talk to you for a minute. All right. Okay. So what else say? Look. So this one of the next door neighbor. I had a pair of sneakers that I bought my son a couple of months ago. And he told me he liked them, but he's like he's going to wear them. I said, okay, I'll buy them for the summer. You have a pair of summer sneakers. But his mother brought him some sneakers when they went to the mall, and I said, hey Ethan, what happened to the sneakers I bought you? He's like, he didn't want them. So I said, all right, fine. I was going to give them to one of the kids and the boys and girls, but I saw this dude, and I asked him his size, and he was like, I was like, yeah, okay, you can wear them. So I ended up donating them to him. So anyhow, as I was saying, what was I saying? Right? Yes. So a lot of things we are manipulated and we don't even quite understand. Right? And I talk about looking at the system for what it is, particularly for me being a black person, I listen to, like I said, Dr. Amos Wilson, who from the 1990s have been saying the same shit that others have been saying. Dr. Claude Anderson, all these other black scholars have been saying. But Dr. Amos Wilson gets into the more technical detail of the psychological manipulation done to black people, right? And so he has helped me a lot in terms of that, in terms of realizing and understanding the system, the system for what it is. Excuse me. And the system will never change. The system has to be this. Ooh, shoot! Wow. The system has to be dismantled, right? Because white people are not going to change who they are. They're not. And so what they have done is to try to change, is to change who we are. Right? Is to try to change who we are. Not only to suppress us, but to continue to oppress us, to continue to keep us out of the competitive markets, right? Because they do not want to compete with anyone. Look what happened in China. China has become the most, I would say, the most scientific nation today, the most technical nation today in terms of medicine. China is kicking our butts as well as the rest of the world, right? And China is showing these so-called white evangelicals with their apocalyptic mindset and their belief system that China can be greater than us without your God, right? Okay, so right now what they're doing is that the U.S. have basically sent a squadron of fighters to, I think, to the Pacific Islands. And I said, if I was China, I would send a squadron of fighters to one of your allies in South America. And if I was Russia, I would send nuclear submarines to Cuba. If the United States can deploy nuclear submarines close to Russia, then, we cannot continue to keep on bullying the world and think that the world is going to sit down and allow us to keep on bullying the world. And I say us because I live in the U.S. Okay, so you know what I'm saying. And we can't do it. And the fact is that these oligarchs, these rich politicians who was in the pocket of corporate America and the military-industrial complex, they're living in a fairy tale land themselves. Because they think that they're going to just start wars overseas and somehow, we're going to be unscathed from having war right here in the United States. We get to look at our television and see Israel bombing Iran, committing genocide against the Palestinian people, right? With the backing of the United States. And we as black people, particularly Negropeans, think that this can't happen here in this country. Because again, and the fact that they have conditioned us, the vast majority of us, to accept that if it does happen here, it is because, the people amongst you who are trying to tell you the truth is at fault. This is what they're trying to do. So you have Negropeans conspiring with white racist, white supremacists, be they liberal or conservative, to engage in the destruction of the people who are sent here to tell you the truth, black people. All right, but we see what happened with how they use Asians, how they use Hispanics, in terms of lying, not really lying to them, but manipulating them, using cognitive warfare into going along and voting for a president, a man who was elected president, who said that he was going to deport your family members, who lied to you and tell you that that if you are a naturalized U.S. citizen from another country, that you're going to be safe. That if you came here legally, that's what they claim, because they always talk about, it was for people who came here illegally, but they're going after people who came here legally. They're talking about getting rid of naturalized citizenship for migrants who come here legally, right, and become citizens. You know, but again, if you don't understand cognitive warfare, things like this is going to happen. And particularly, as I said, as black people, we have been so dumbed down, so ignorant, right, that we're fighting against each other. We're watching, it's a couple of those um, so-called black conscious channel like Professor Black Truth, which I watch all the time. But they call black people from other nations tethered, and I'm like, you seem to forget that, Malcolm X's mother was not from the U.S. You seem to forget that Harry Belafonte wasn't born in the U.S. You keep forgetting that Sidney Poitier wasn't born in the U.S. Right? But they were a very intricate and important part of the civil rights movement. Right? You keep forgetting that Kwame Ture was not born in the U.S. Marcus Garvey was not born in the U.S. Like I said, we as black people, we have been so misguided and so manipulated. And I keep saying this, when they took whole families, we're talking about a family may have over 100 members of their family. Some of those people went to the Caribbean. Some of those people went to South America. Some of them came here to America. We are more connected in ways in which we have no idea. But because we are conditioned with short-term memory, and we think of ourselves as not being one people, right? But let me tell you this: Germans are different from Swedes. They may have some similarities. They may have some cross-cultural continuity. Can't even pronounce the word. Just as how you have, the British, but then you go back, 700, go back 1,000 years? No, go back 500 years. Go back 500 years, and you'll see that Germany and Germans played an important part in Britain, right? The words that we use, words like God, that's a German word. That's not a British word to describe, the Creator. That's not a Spanish word to describe the Creator. God is a German word. There's many different German words that that we use today. No problem. There are so many words that we use today that has German origin, and we don't even understand that, right? But when it comes to enslaving Africans, what did they do? What did the Europeans do? Right? They now saw themselves as one. Yeah, they may be of different nations, but when it comes to colonizing and enslaving black people, they were all in one accord. So like I said, they put money and their color above their God. We put their God above each other and who we are as black people. Anyhow, talk to you guys in the next video.